Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? Hopefully great as usual. Do you remember this picture, guys? Do you remember pronouns? We have taken this in earlier sessions. So we said that pronouns could be subject pronouns, object pronoun, possessive adjectives, possessive pronouns, reflexive pronouns, and we are gonna take today relative pronouns. That's our session today. What is meant by relative pronouns? In order to tell you what is meant by relative pronouns, first they are like who, which, whom, whose, where, when, why, and that. What is meant by this, and when can I use them, or why should I use them? We have three reasons or 3 points to know about these relative pronouns. Number 1, it's used to join sentences together. Instead of speaking or writing with short sentences, we can connect these sentences together. How can we connect sentences together? One of the ways or one of the means to connect them is through relative pronouns. That's number 1. So it's used to join sentences together. Number 2, like what? Like who, which, whose, whom, as we said. The most important point regarding the relative pronouns, they are used after a noun. After what? A noun. Be careful of that, please. So it's used after a noun to describe which person or which thing we are talking about. So what do you mean by this? What is meant by a noun to describe which person or thing we are talking about? In order to tell you how, the noun that refers to this, or the relative pronoun that refers to or describe the noun, we are going to take examples to make it clearer for you. Just remember this note and we are going to see how now. Let's see. Okay. Number 1. Who. I'm going to speak about who, number 1. Who, or you can use that in English as well. When can you use who? When you are talking about people in the subject possession. To refer to people or talk about people in the subject possession. Okay, let's see an example. The girl is my cousin. That's the first sentence, for example. The second one, the girl is talking to the teacher. These are 2 sentences. We would like to join these sentences together. We would like to make it just like one sentence. How can we do this? Okay, I want you to look at these 2 sentences. Is there something that is repeated in both of these sentences? What's repeated? The word, the girl. Very good. So the girl here is considered as people or not? Yes, people. That's number 1, people. So the girl is written in which possession? Subject, object, what possession? It's in the subject possession. Very good. So it means you can remove the repeated word and replace it with who. Just like this. Very good. Okay. How can I make these sentences, both of these sentences, into one? We have a rule, guys. What's this rule? can I say the girl is my cousin and then put who is talking to the teacher? Can I make it like number 2, the girl is my cousin who is talking to the teacher? In English, we don't use it like this. Why? Because if you remember, who here refers to what? To the girl. It's the instead of the word the girl. So it should be, we should put who after the girl. We should put it here. So we should put who after the girl. After the noun it describes. It describes what? The girl. So we should put who after the girl. Very good. So if I said the girl is my cousin, the first sentence, and then said who is talking to the teacher. So the girl is here and who is here. So this means that who is after the girl? No, it's a mistake. Why? Because who should be after the girl. The relative pronoun should be after the noun it describes. Do you remember this? It should be after a noun it describes. Okay? So how can I put it after the girl? We can make it in a simple way. Okay? How can we make it? The girl, that's the subject. And then the rest of the sentence is my cousin. We are going to make a space here between the subject and the verb. Okay? And then we are going to take the second part, which is who is talking to the teacher. Are going to take this and put it after the girl. So the sentence is going to be what? The sentence is going to be like this. The girl who is talking to the teacher is my cousin. Again, here, who is after what? Following what? After the noun. It describes what? Who here describes what? Describe the girl. Which girl is your cousin? I don't know. So the girl who is talking to the teacher is my cousin. Not the girl who is playing, not the girl who is eating, not the girl who is drinking. No, she is the one who is talking to the teacher. So here you describe what girl? Which girl? Okay, which girl, sorry. Which girl? So here is used after a noun to describe which person or which thing you are talking about. Okay? So again, I'm gonna repeat it again to make you understand how can we make it. Okay. Just a minute. So again, I'm gonna repeat it again one more time, guys. So we use relative pronouns to join sentences together. Instead of making two short sentences, we make one long sentence. How can we make this? We have relative pronouns. Who is used for people in the subject possession. Okay? So here, what's the word that is repeated? The word that the girl is repeated. So I'm gonna remove the repeated word, which is the girl, and replace it with who. That's number 1. Who should be after the girl because it describes the girl. How can we put it after this? So we make a space. We make a space here between the subject and the verb, the first sentence. And then we take the second sentence and put it here in this space. So the girl who is talking to the teacher is my cousin. Okay, did you get it now? Very good. I want to tell you a note that is very important. It could be the girl or it could be he or she, the subject pronouns. Do you remember the subject pronouns like he, she, we, you, and they? It could be one of them. So I can say the girl or I can say she because the girl or she is referring to the girl. So it's the same as well. It could be the same noun or a pronoun referring to the same noun. Okay? Okay. Let's see another example to make it easier for you to get. Number 2. Which. How can we use which in English? The same like I said for who. You can use who or you can use that. The same for which. Which, you can use which or you can use that as well. But who for people. Which is for what? Which is for things, not for people. So that's the difference between them. Which for things and who for people. That's number one. The same as we said here, we have the house was old. They tried to sell the house. What's the word that is repeated in both of these sentences? The word the house. Very good. So the house here is considered as people or as things? No, as something. Very good. So I'm gonna replace the repeated word with which. Very good. So I'm gonna say which. So I'm gonna say the house was old. They tried to sell which? Can I say it like this? The house they tried to sell which was old, for example? No, we said that the relative pronoun should be after, should be following the noun it described, the house which. So I am talking about what? About the house. So I should put which here. Okay, very good. So again, I'm gonna make the space, and then put here after the house which, and then the rest of the sentence. So the house which they tried to sell was old. Very good. So again, you make a space between the subject and the verb in the first sentence, and then you put the relative pronoun after the noun it described, the house which here, and then you put the rest of the sentence in the middle. Okay? Did you get it, guys? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. After which, what do we have? Whom. Okay, whom is the same like who. It's the same. Whom is the same like who. Both of them are for people. But what's the difference? If the word that you are gonna remove is in the object possession, you are gonna use whom. If it's in the subject possession, you are gonna use who. That's the difference between them. Okay? So whom is used for people in the object possession. And as I told you, of course, you can see him or her instead of he and she. So let's see. The woman is my neighbor. So the woman here in the first sentence in the subject possession. Very good. What about the second one? I saw the woman yesterday. What word is repeated? The word the woman. The woman that you are gonna remove, this woman, is in the subject or object possession? No, object, because it's after the verb. The subject here is I. So if you are gonna remove person or people in the object possession, you are gonna use what? You are gonna use whom in this case. Very good. So I'm gonna put whom where? After what? After the noun it describes. So the woman whom, and then the rest of the sentence, you're gonna, don't forget, make a space, and then put the sentence in the middle here. So the woman whom I saw yesterday is my neighbor. So which woman you are talking about? The woman whom I saw yesterday. Okay, so can I say the woman I saw whom yesterday with this order? No, because whom is going to be not after the woman. So that's a mistake in this. Okay, so did you get it, guys? Hopefully you got it correctly. Okay, one more note I'd like to mention related to this. Some can use who for people in general, whether it's in the subject or object possession. It's okay. I mean, you can use here, you can use the woman who I saw. You can hear some people say it like this. So it's okay. For some, you can use who. For people in general, it doesn't matter. Sorry, it doesn't matter if it's in the subject or object possession. Okay? What's after whom? We have what? We have whose. When can I use whose? For possessive. Do you remember possessive, guys? My, your, his. So one of these. Okay. The man left in a hurry. His briefcase is on the seat. What's repeated here? The man and his, because his is referring to the man. His briefcase, his bag. Okay? If you have a possessive word, you can remove it and replace it with whose in this case. And don't forget, we make a space between the subject and the verb, and then we put the second sentence. So the man whose briefcase is on the seat left in a hurry. Left in a hurry. Okay, so whose briefcase is on the seat left in what? Left in a hurry in this case. I want you to notice something, guys. the only relative pronoun that is gonna be followed by a noun is whose only. So whose briefcase, do you see what's after whose? Noun. So have a look at who, have a look, for example, at whom. You have what? A sentence, a complete sentence, not a noun. Okay, what's after? Let's see, which. Subject and verb sentence as well. Okay, let's see what's after who. The verb and then the rest of the sentence. But whose is the only one that can be followed by a noun. So whenever you see a noun, in a sentence and you'd like to use a relative pronoun, never forget to use whose in this case. Okay, so it's followed by what? As we said, it's followed by a noun in this case. Very good. Don't forget this note, guys. It's really helpful to get. What's after whose? We have what? Okay, let's go back. Whose, and then we have where. Again, where refers to what? Where can you use it? For talking about places in this case. You can find some people use instead of where in which. It's okay as well. You can use it in which if you'd like to, but where is easier to remember because it's related to place as we used to. So the country was great. I went to the country last summer. What is something that is repeated in both of these sentences? The word the country. The country is considered as what? As a place. So you are gonna remove the repeated word and you are gonna replace it with what? Did you get it? The word where. Where should I put where after the country? So I'm gonna make the space as usual. So I'm gonna say the country where I went to last summer. The second sentence, I'm gonna complete the first, was great. So where here describes what? Describes the country that we are talking about. It's a place, as we said. Or the country in which I went to last summer was great. Okay, so you can use this or this as you want or as you would like to. What's after where? We have what? We have when. When refers to what? It refers to timing. Time. So if you have something that is related to time, you can use when in this case. So for example, if I said 8 o'clock is the time of the train, I just used of the train because of the meaning of the sentence. Or I can say the train is at the station at 8 o'clock. What is repeated here? The word 8 o'clock. Very good. So I'm gonna replace 8 o'clock with what? With when. Okay, so when the train is at the station. So I'm gonna say 8 o'clock is the time when the train is at the station. You are gonna notice that because of the meaning only, I made an exception here. I didn't make the space. I used the first sentence and then I used when the train is at the station because it's understood that the time is referring to the word 8 o'clock in this case. So it's one of the rules that you can say as an exception if you find something like this or when we are talking about something related to time like this one. Okay, so then we have what's after when. We have why. Why is used for reasons instead of reasons. So for example, she couldn't tell the reason. She couldn't tell why, okay? She was so late. So if I want to join these sentences together, how can I put them together? Instead of the word the reason, I'm gonna replace it with the word why, okay? We don't have to say the word reason is repeated in both of them because we may not have this. She couldn't tell the reason. I'm gonna remove the word the reason and replace it with why. She couldn't tell why she was so late, the second sentence as well, okay? So now let's practice. We have here two sentences. The problem is difficult to solve. You are facing the problem. We would like to connect these sentences together using the proper relative pronoun. How can we make the connection between them? That's your homework, guys. The cute boy is the owner's son. He works in the shop. The ladder began to slip. I was standing on it. Do you know the man? I talked to the man. Number two, in these sentences, there are some mistakes or some errors. I want you to correct them. Correct the errors in these sentences or the mistakes. Joan won the prize. Whom surprised me a lot. So should we use whom here or should we use something else? Okay, very good. So there is one more. I'd like you to try to do as well. It's a link. I'm gonna open it for you and you are gonna get the question and try to answer them as well. Okay, yeah. These are the questions. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Type in the correct relative pronoun. The man came first. Okay, sorry, I can make it just a little bit. Yes, that's clear, I think. Okay, the man came first in the 100-meter race, broke the world record. So at the zoo, there is a parrot, can talk to the people. Do you know the woman? Son is a famous actor. I really like the suit you bought for the wedding. It was my brother. I entrusted with looking after my baby. So which word are you gonna use here? Who, which, whom, whose, where, and when? Which of these words? So you are gonna write the correct word. The same here. Did you see the car was driving much too fast? It was very sad to see the bird wing was broken. Today I saw the woman always helps grandma with her shopping. Do you like the new plants I bought for the living room? I was offered a job by the manager of the company I met at the interview. I want you to try to use the relative pronoun as well. Okay? Here we are gonna do the same. I look at that dog is chasing its own tail. Becky and Amy are two sisters. Faces look very much alike. This is the newest phone you can buy in the shops. Harry told what the name of the girl he wanted to give a Valentine's present to. I need someone can fix my washing machine. So all of them about relative pronouns. Okay, so it's your homework as well. Okay. Then we have in book 3, guys, you can find this in page 3. Okay, on the CD. Okay, on the CD, guys. This part A, match the information in columns A and B using the relative pronoun. So for example, here, okay, the first one is done as an example. I don't want to have a partner who, and you're gonna match it with a suitable word for you or a suitable sentence for you, who I have nothing in common with. I'd like to meet people, and you're gonna choose the right sentences, completing in the middle with the right relative pronoun. I prefer a roommate. I don't like to be with people. I want to discuss my problems with friends. I'd rather have a boss. I prefer to have teachers who or whom or where or when. You can complete it with the right relative pronoun as well. One more thing we are gonna take today is the difference between need and want. What's the difference between them? Mostly, the difference between them is need. When you are talking about something that is very important for you or very, very important to succeed or to live, just like what? We can, for example, say, can people live without water? No, it's a necessity. It's very important for them to live. So we can say we need water to live, not want. Want is just a desire, something that you want or something that you desire, maybe to make you feel happier, but not a necessity, not very important for you to live, for example. So let's see the difference in examples to make it clearer for you. So again, needs means what? Must have to survive. It's a necessity to survive, to live. Like what? Like clothes, for example. Nobody can live without clothes. Food, you can't live your life without food. House, you have to have a place to live in to protect you from everything. While once I can live without, it's something that I desire. I want to make me feel happier, but it's not a need for me. Just like what cheese, for example. I want to eat cheese, not I need to eat cheese. Okay, it means what? It means that's what I feel I want to do now. Okay, let's see other examples. Again, I just give it to you to make it clearer for you. So are things that we must have in order to survive, like water, like clothes, like food, like house, as we said. But wants are things that we would like to have, to simply enjoy, to feel happier. I want to buy a bike, for example. Okay, I want to have a ball. Okay, to make it more clearer, need is much stronger in meaning as a necessity. It's something that is stronger than want. Okay, while want is something that you desire, as we said. We need water to live. So can you live without water? No. So you say what we need. If we are not gonna drink water, we are gonna die. Okay? We need food to survive. Okay? I want a big glass of milk. So for example, if I said I want a big glass of milk, does this mean I need milk to live? No, I can live without milk. We don't need it to live, but we want to drink it as a kind of, do you remember? As a kind of what? As a kind of enjoying or feeling happier. Okay? I really want pizza tonight. I can say I really need, because need, it means you are gonna die if you didn't take it. Okay? It's a necessity or something that is really important. I really want pizza tonight. So it's a desire. Okay? There is one more note that you may see in a lot of sentences. Need to plus verb infinitive and want to plus verb infinitive. Both of them can be followed by to and then the verb in the infinitive form. Okay? So want to, do you remember this? We said before that we can contract it into what? Into wanna. So I want to eat sushi, or I wanna eat sushi. I wanna eat sushi. The same need to plus verb infinitive. The contraction for this is gonna be need. I need to go. I need to go shopping. I need to go shopping. Okay? So it's the same. Both of them can be followed by to plus verb in the infinitive, and both of them can have contraction as well. Here are some examples. I'd like you to try to use need or want as a kind of homework to revise. Okay, my mother is sick and I don't have enough money to buy medicine. $100. So what are you gonna say, need or want in this case? A glass of mango juice, for example. We to play basketball. I to fix my car. Okay, let's move on to another thing we are gonna take today. Collocations. We have already taken make, do, and take. Today we are gonna take collocations with have or have collocations. These are very common, guys. That's why I mostly want you to know them. So for example, you can say have for drink and food. So have breakfast, dinner, lunch, cup of tea, coffee, something to eat, some sugar. You can say even milk, any kind of drinks as well. An ice cream, a sandwich, a salad. So things related to drink and food. Have a look. Can I have a look? You want to look at something? Sure, give it as look, or give it a look. Sorry, it's just that. Have a look at my new bike. It means just to come and look at it. Have a moment. Can I have a moment with you? What do you mean by can I have a moment with you? It means I want to talk to you face to face. We had a moment, or we had such a moment. It's just like romantic moments. She had her moments to remember as well. Have a shower, a bath, a swim. So we can use it with shower as well. Swim, sauna as well. Wishes, have a good or nice day. You wish a person to spend a nice day or a nice evening. have a great weekend, a good journey, have a good time. So it depends. So you wish something to have some a good time or nice time. Problems like health problems, cold, headache, fever, high temperature, depression. Okay, have a go. What is meant by have a go? To have permission to do something. A nap. Do you remember what's a nap? A short time for sleeping, especially in the middle of the day. Let's see examples for these words in other examples. Have an accident. Josh had a car accident last night. Have an argument, like a fight with words. I had an argument with my father. Have a conversation. I had a long conversation with her. Have a chat, chatting with a person. We had a nice chat over coffee. Have difficulty, bad time, or troubles or problems in your life. She had difficulty in starting her car, or something that is difficult in general. Have a nightmare. What is meant by a nightmare? Nightmare, it means a dream, but a bad one, not a good one. So I had a scary nightmare last night. Have a dream, the good one. I had a dream that I won the lottery, for example. Have a feeling. What is meant by have a feeling? It means you feel something in your heart. Feel something good is going to happen, something bad is gonna happen. I have a feeling that something is wrong. Have fun. Did you have fun at the party? Have a look. Come and look at something. Can I have a look at your new car? Have a party. Celebrating. We are having a big party this evening. Have a problem. Our school is having financial problems. Have a try or go. It means to try something, as we said. I can't leave this table. Let me have a try. Let me have a try. It means let me try this. Okay? Or permission to do something, as we said, as go. Have an exam. I have an exam tomorrow. Wish me luck. Have an interview. He has an interview tomorrow and he's a little nervous. Have an opportunity or chance. You have already had lots of opportunities, chances in your life. We have already have difficulty. We said this. She had difficulty in starting her car. It's just repeated. Then we have a baby. What does it mean have a baby? If a woman is pregnant and we said that she have a baby, give birth to a baby. My grandmother had all her papers at home. Okay, they were born, all of them at home. Okay, we said before this, ache. The word ache, it means pain. So if I said headache, it means ache in my head, pain in my head. If I said backache, it means ache in my back, pain in my back. If I said stomach ache, it means ache in my stomach. Okay, my father has a backache, so he couldn't sleep well. A bath. I can't remember the last time I had a bath. Birthday. Children can have a birthday party inside private capsule on the London Eye. A break. Let's have a break. When you finish this exercise, a business trip or journey. My dad has a business trip, so we couldn't visit our grandmother together. Busy day. I had a busy day yesterday. Conversation or chat. Can we have a conversation before we make any decision? Cup of tea or coffee? Would you like to have a cup of tea or coffee? I already revised what I said here. These are examples for these guys. I'm just giving you the examples for these words, okay? Discussion. We should have a discussion about this topic to understand deeply. Discussion means talking together. Faith. What is meant by faith? Believing in Allah. Personally, I do have faith that you believe in Allah. Patience. Patience, it means you are not in a hurry. You can wait. You've got to have patience. Some sugar or milk, as we said for food. Could I have some milk, please? Sympathy. Sympathy, it means when you feel pity for a person, have emotion towards a person because he had a person who died. Okay, for example, I really have sympathy for them. Okay, the chance or opportunity, as we said, we go to the beach whenever we have the chance. Time, to have enough time to do something. Trouble, he's well qualified, so he had no trouble finding work. Okay, no problem. Work, we have so much work to do before Friday. Okay, is a kind of practice as usual. I'm just gonna make it a little bit. I want you to try to use, it's like a revision, guys, a revision on what we said, revision on a make, do, have, and take collocations. Okay, so you are gonna read the sentence, you are gonna choose if you would like to use take or have or make or do. For example, the first, all of them, I'm gonna just give an example. Please could you me a favor and buy some milk on your own way, on your way home? So could you do me a favor? Could you make me a favor? Could you take me a favor? Could you have me a favor? Which one? We said this before. So you have to revise collocations in order to try to answer this question. That's the first, the second, the third, and it's the last. Okay? So try to answer them as a kind of revision on collocations. The last part of this session is mainly about how questions. We have already taken this before, but we didn't collect it together. And at the same time, I'd like you to remember, if I asked you now, how questions, how many questions start with the word how, that you are gonna tell me how are you, how old are you, how many, how much, and you are going to write a list of the how question that you can do. But the maximum number of how questions can be how many, guys? The maximum number. You can get 10, you can get 20, you can get 30. Well, there are hundreds of questions that can start with how. How can I know all of them? All of these how questions, how can I know all of them? Simply, we have a rule. We have 4 types of how question. 4 types of how questions. If you know these types, it's gonna be easy to make hundreds of questions starting with how. Okay? What are these 4 types? Number 1, how many and how much. And these are 2. Okay? And of course, you remember the rule, how many followed by plural countable noun, how much uncountable noun. Okay. But we have 2 more rules. What are they? How can be followed by an adjective. How can be followed by an adverb. How many adjectives do you know in English? How many? You know 100 adjectives? So you can make 100 questions. You know 200s for adjective and adverbs? So you can make 200 questions. There are so many adjectives and adverbs in English, plus the how many and the how much. Of course, they are separate questions, as we said. And the adjective and its opposite, guys, as well. Don't forget. So let's see examples about how questions and how many you can get out of this. Okay, let's see. For example, we can say how far and how near, the opposite, and how much and how many, how fast and how slow, how old and how young. The adjective and its opposite as well. So for example, how much did you pay for your shoes? How many books do you read every year? That's how many and how much. And don't forget, many is followed by plural countable noun. Okay, how fast can your car go? How old is your father? How well can you play football as an adverb? How long have you been learning English? How often as an adverb as well. Do you play computer games? How far your house, or how far is your house to the school? Or is it from your house to the school? Okay, I'm gonna explain it more now. How plus adjective. It means what? It means any adjective that you can put it after how. So how old and how young, how hot and how cold, how difficult and how easy, how good and how bad. Okay, how serious. Okay, how serious and how funny. These are adjectives for people or adjectives for human that we can use. We have how many adjectives that can describe people or persons? We have hundreds, so you can use all of them after how. So let's see an example. How old are you? I'm 20. And you can add years old or not as you like as well. And we said this before, mostly we don't use it in speaking. How difficult was the exam? It was so difficult. How difficult or how easy? As we said, we can use the adjective and its opposite as well. How serious is he or how funny? He's very serious, for example. How hard is it? For all the questions, you can say it's very, for example, it's very hot. Too hot, too hot, you can't drink it. Not hot or not so hot. Or so, it means in the middle. It's not so hot, it's not cold as well. How good are you at English? I'm very good. I'm pretty good. Or whatever you can say. As an example for adverbs, how plus adverb, how well, how quickly, how quietly, how often, or how often, as we said before. It could be in Y or not, as we said as well. How well do you play tennis? Very well, pretty well. How quickly can you finish the report? Very quickly. How often do you go to the cinema? Once or 3 times a month? Rarely, or whatever, as we said before as well. It's just like a revision on what we said before. Again, what's the difference between how much and how many? How many plus plural countable noun and how much plus uncountable noun? Is example, how many chairs are there in your kitchen? Can answer using number or a lot of or some or a few or not many or not any or none. How much light? The uncountable, there is a lot, and don't forget is a lot of light, some light, a little light, not much light, not any light, none. Okay? For how questions, how far? How far is your house from here? How old is your grandpa? How many people are here? How often do you dance? How long does it take to work? How much is the car? How tall are you? How high is the mountain? How deep is the ocean? How fast? How big the size was a dinosaur? How heavy is the boy or is the box? Sorry. Okay. I got you more examples and answers as well. How heavy is your bag? It's too heavy. I can't carry it. How far is Alex from Cairo? About 200 kilometers. How high is that building? It's more than 80 meters. How tall are you? 170 centimeters, for example. If you don't know the exact number, you can say around. Okay. All of them are adjectives. How big is your house? It's not so big. How wide is How wide is the river? It's 150 miles wide. How long was the wedding dress? It was very short or very long. How long has different meanings. How long was the wedding dress? It means the length. How long have they been married? It means the duration, for a very long time, more than 30 years. How long does it take? It means the time that it takes, around 10 minutes. Okay. How goes and how are you doing? How is it going? Like how are you? Okay, but the informal way. How dare you? It means if a person said to you a bad word or insulted you, you can say how dare you? How dare you say this to me? Okay. As homework, page 35 in worksheet 1 plus these questions you are gonna try to answer for next time as well. Okay, so how do you go to the cinema? Is Tom Cruise? Are you at jam? Is the station? Is this tower butter do I need for this cake? Must I cook it? So you are gonna just complete using the right how questions. Okay. I think that's the end of our session today. Okay. And see you inshallah next time, guys. Have a nice day, all of you. Bye.